chapter that we will look at tonight. Then we have types of testing. There is about 100 plus types of testing that are out there. We're going to look at the most common ones, the ones that are in use almost in every company. We're going to look at those types of testing. Then we're going to look into the introduction to the requirements and test case development, which means like we'll see what goes on behind a tester's mind and also how to write test cases and what to include and what not to include and all that stuff. So right after we learn how to write test cases, we are going to have a small bug hunting class. There's going to be an application which you can uh, have a look at, and then you can hunt as many bugs as possible. Also, after the demo for that, then we will go for some testing techniques. We'll see what are the basic testing techniques out there. For example, positive, negative, equivalence boundary, equivalence partitioning, and boundary value analysis. All those kind of techniques, we'll have a look at them. Then once we're done with testing techniques, we'll see what the defects are. Once you find the defects, what the defect report should look like, what is the defect life cycle, and the triage process. We'll also look at the very important topic, which is the severity versus priority. So this is another very important concept that we need to have a full grasp on, and we'll talk about that as well in chapter number 5. So after this point, after the defects, we will start looking into more like project management skill. And in project management, we'll see what the Agile is, specifically Agile Scrum methodology. And then in the next class, we'll look at Agile Kanban methodology. We'll see what both of these frameworks bring to the table and how we can use them for our project management, basically all the way from the idea to all the way to the delivery of the project. How these agile methodologies can help us. We'll have a look at them. And then we will dive into a very short class about the estimations, like how do we estimate the efforts and how we estimate the cost and time it would take, behind a particular project. And, forget about the project, we'll dive deeper into at the very requirement level that, one particular requirement, how long it would take to develop and test it. We'll have all those things in this chapter 8. So once we are done with those, then we'll have more of the practical stuff to do. We will be looking into the introduction of SQL, which is the structured query language for backend testing purposes. We'll have some SQL practice. We'll also look at some real-life database that we can utilize for our, for example, manual testing project. Okay. And also, once we are done with the SQL, the last thing that we want to learn in this program is the introduction to API testing. The API testing, again, is a huge field, but what we are going to look at is the client-server architecture. We'll have some tutorials where we'll be live practicing the API testing. We'll be doing the basic CRUD operations. CRUD operations are create, read, update, and delete. So these operations, in short, they're called CRUD operations. And we will be looking at all of them as we progress. So again, this is only for manual testing. This does not cover the automation testing part of it, and it's only for the manual testing. Again, in order to go for the manual automation testing, we need to first know what testing is, right? What are we going to automate? We first need to understand that part, and then we can automate it, right? So this course will not only tell you what we can automate and what we cannot automate, but it will give you the detail, insights of like what the testing is and how we do it, and how do we write our test cases, and what happens if we find the defects, and what the project, how the project goes from all the way from idea to delivery. So we'll look at all those things, and then at the end we'll have some practical stuff to verify. Not just that, the very last class that I want to host for this particular course is the market readiness class, which is going to be our 13th class.
Yeah.
And in this class, we are going to explore the jobs on Indeed. Again, you're more than welcome to explore the jobs right after tonight's class, but we'll be exploring them at that point, like in with the potential to apply. So we'll
Okay.
share resume within our class. We'll use Chat GPT to create resume and cover letters for us, and then we'll apply a real job, and then you can keep us updated after, like what happened with that job. Did you actually get a response from them or not? So we'll do one job in the class. We'll apply one job in the class, and then later on I'll give you assignments to, for example, apply 5 jobs in a week or
Okay.
that. Okay.
So with this, with everything that I'm seeing here, this is the manual testing outline, the first half of the course, and then after this we dive into, let's say, the automation. But from here in the beginning, from what I'm getting, if correct me if I'm wrong, it looks like it's going to be first the theory, understanding how to test and what's going on. And then we jump into a little bit more of the technical aspects of it. And then we look at how this fits into the project lifecycle and then the testing itself. Is that correct?
That is correct, 100%. But again, like practical stuff over here, we have it's more more hands-on than theory, but
Yeah.
the theory is throughout with us. Plus, we'll have some practical stuff to do right here. Like for example, we'll be looking into the requirements, how the requirements are written, right? And then
Yeah.
how we can write the test cases. Because as a tester, this is going to be your job. Like you'll be writing test cases day in, day out. So we'll see
Okay.
how we can write the test cases. And then if
Hmm.
you look at this class number 4, it's bug hunting and some testing techniques. So again, we're gonna be looking at, like a live bug hunting program where we have an application and
Yeah.
we'll hunt as many bugs as possible. Okay, so
Yeah,
this is
that's pretty.
yeah,
Go ahead.
throughout, like the whole program is very hands-on, very practical. In the beginning, we'll have more theory to cover, and then as we progress, we'll keep seeing more and more hands-on. Again, hands-on right from the beginning. Okay.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to kind of understand the course
Oh,
outline.
no, good
And it's
question.
good that you mentioned that this is a lot of hands-on work because I'm a type of learner that actually learns by doing. So I think this is going to be great.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, 100%. And also, like, we are not going to be limited to one particular structure. I mean, you can at any point of time you get any question, you can just simply ask me right away, and we'll
Okay.
pause what we're doing and then we'll move forward.
Okay,
Um,
no
but
worries.
keep the good questions coming in, and that's all I'm expecting from you. And again, like we'll be giving some question and answers, some assignments as well. You'll have to do some homework as well after the class.
Mhm.
So that's something that I'm expecting from you, that you will be doing your homework and you'll be working hard on that. And then within, let's say 13 classes are there. So if we do 3 classes per week, we can kill it within 2 to 3 weeks if you think about it. So there is no
Okay.
rocket science behind this whole thing. This is pretty straightforward. You just need to understand the processes, that what it takes to test software and what it takes to be a good software engineer or a good software test engineer. Okay. So
Okay, no
that's
worries.
all I'm going to teach. And again, at the end of this course, you will be able to apply for jobs, and you should be able to get the job after this course. Okay.
Okay, that's amazing. So you did clarify that I'll be able to apply to jobs right after the course, which is good to hear. And also want to understand how long is the full duration of this course?
So again, like I said, like, we will have three classes per week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right?
Yeah,
Every 5:30 to 6:30. So the goal that I have in my mind is that we will get it done within let's say 2 weeks. So because there's going to be also, like, some homeworks, and also one more thing which I haven't added here is that we'll also hold some mock-up interviews, some mock interviews there. So what I want to do, so once we are done with learning about the testing, for example, all of this stuff up till chapter number 5, right, which is about defects, we'll do a quick mock interview, and I will
okay,
ask you questions that are related to what you have studied, but those could be a real life questions that they can ask in the interview. Again, those would be
okay,
based on whatever we have studied, but the questions would be real questions. Similarly, we'll dive into project management. And once we are done with these three classes, right, we'll do a quick mock interview as well, right? And again, the questions that I will be asking are going to be the real life questions related to, your team, your way of handling the project in your previous workplace, and any question that, that could be asked in a real interview, I'll be asking those questions. And then this is very hands-on, the SQL part. So we'll have
yeah,
some works for you to do. And again, we will start our next class with the questions related to previous class or previous homeworks. So we'll make sure we'll cover all those practical things right here. Again, this is more hands-on, all of this. So we don't have to do a lot of interview part of this, right? But we'll do a lot of exercises on this.